Here with reaction, former State Department spokesperson for the Trump administration and Tennessee congressional candidate Morgan Ortagus. Hey, Morgan, these optics are clearly horrible, but that's nothing new for the Biden administration. But regardless of party, you want an American president to appear strong nationally and internationally. But that's not the case right now. So do you think the world takes this administration seriously at all?
No, or Putin wouldn't be invading Ukraine right now. By the way, just so our audience knows, you pronounce it Bahrain. It is. I lived in Saudi Arabia for a while. We have actually troops based there. So one would think that somebody so close, one heartbeat away, don't they say, to being the commander-in-chief would know the names of countries, how to pronounce the names of countries where we have American troops present. But I digress. Actually, what we have seen, over the past 6 months, as we all know, is over 1 million arrests at the border, right? What we have seen in March is over 210,000 apprehensions. I don't want to give away my age here, Hogan, but the last time something like this happened, I think, in high school. It was a little over 20 years ago. I was a senior in high school. I was probably about 20 pounds thinner as well. So this was a long time ago, the last time we have seen the border at this catastrophe. Now, why does this matter in relation to the vice president and her inability to, properly pronounce the names of countries? Well, yesterday when she was out, during the rounds, she left shortly after we all got news about these, 1 million border arrests. She went to LA. She did a fundraiser for the DNC. And so I just have to ask, where's the borders are? If you have time to leave Washington to go to Los Angeles to raise money for the Democratic Party, why can't you go to the border? And these numbers, while I joke, listen and say this is, I was in high school the last time it was this bad. Destiny's Child was at the top of the playlists on the radio the last time the numbers were these bad. While it's definitely funny, in that sense to compare it. But what's not funny is the fact that we have these apprehensions, that it is at record highs, and that every single day, Hogan, the Chinese Communist Party are killing young Americans. What do I mean by that? Right. Because every single day, the #1 killer in this country of people under 40 is fentanyl. And most of that fentanyl is coming from China. It's coming from the Chinese Communist Party, and it's going over our border illegally. No one in this administration is taking this seriously. There is no border czar. There is no plan to secure our border. This is the most pressing national security issue, in my opinion, right now facing all Americans.
And Morgan, speaking of national security issues, just last month, the U.S. canceled our ballistic missile test, Minuteman III. And then just yesterday, Kamala Harris announced the U.S. would stop anti-satellite missile tests. The administration is claiming the reason is responsible behavior in space. So even if that is the case, because Russia used this and tons of particles went into space, is this the time to be stopping a test like this when we know that Russia is one of the countries that has one of the top space forces in the world?
A great question, Lindsay, and you're right. No, we should not be stopping these tests. Guess who is not stopping? The Chinese, the Russians, even the Indians have done some of these tests. So not only should we not be stopping these tests, I mean, why we would handcuff ourselves at a time, by the way, of great power competition, of Russia invading Europe, invading Ukraine, China eyeing Taiwan, why we would handicap ourselves at this time with any test is unfathomable to me. But what's even worse is that because of inflation, the Biden defense budget is at about a 3 or 4% cut. So again, guess who's not handcuffing themselves? Guess who's not stopping or cutting their defense spending? The Chinese Communist Party. And so we are not being real. We are not being serious about the threats that face us, around the world. And we have to do everything that we can to get our attention focused on Asia, focused on China. That is the threat. By the way, that's not just the eventual likely military threat. That's the threat that we're dealing with every day as Americans. As I said, when we see this fentanyl coming from China that is killing our young people every single day in this country.
Morgan Ortagus, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.